up Twitch's big problems is like bringing up my mustache. You're tired of hearing it at this point. But there is a huge announcement that Twitch made that people are quite upset about. How upset? Well, Tips, the leader of OTK, said if this change goes through, OTK will be leaving Twitch, which is crazy because they are one of the most viewed organizations on Twitch. Also added the CEO, pretty bold move. And if you just search up Twitch right now and go through all of Twitter, people aren't happy. It's impressive how Twitch manages to make the most dogshit changes imaginable. I don't say it lightly, but I think this is a legitimate situation where streamers should consider boycotting Twitch. Twitch is changing sponsorship guidelines to be so restrictive that it makes it impossible for streamers to even advertise. Okay, well, let's first address what the fuck everybody's talking about. And it all started with a single article posted by Twitch about branded content guidelines. Maybe the most boring, dry article you could imagine, has somewhat made the entirety of Twitter implode talking about Twitch. But what is the actual content of it? It started with point 1, which is branded content disclosure tool. Basically, now when you do a branded stream, you have to disclose it, which is a law in the US of A at the very least, and is a good thing. You should know when you're watching branded content as a viewer, and if you check this little box, then it'll be embedded into the stream. Great, easy. Point 1, not a problem. But like most shit sandwiches, it's not the top layer of bread you have to worry about, it's what's in the middle, which is point 2. Prohibited brand sponsorship formats. We recognize that streamers want to collab with brands, but as outlined in the TOS, we maintain the exclusive right to sell, serve, and display ads on Twitch services. This means
insane. Okay, like there's plenty of legalese in these terms of service agreements that you sign on to, but like following through on some of that is actually wild, which is what Twitch basically said they were going to do.
Means that you may not insert, embed, or burn in pre-recorded ad units into your live streams. What does that mean? Well, they gave a nice little infographic. Somebody worked really hard at Twitch to make these graphics. They look really good, but they made a lot of people upset. So let's go through it. Here are the formats permitted for ads that streamers might want to run on their Twitch channel. You can do panels, which is like the thing below. Basically the description, something nobody actually reads. You can showcase products, fair enough. You can include links or maybe have like a pinned link or a Moo bot that posts the link occasionally in the chat. You can discuss products and be like, wow, check out my very cool Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. It has drift still. I don't know how that's legal. And you can play sponsored games. Okay, great. That's all fine. But what are the non-permitted ones? The ones with limitations? The ones that started the shitstorm that has caused Twitter to lose their mind? Well, the first one, logos on stream. On-stream brand overlays are limited to 3% of screen size. This is crazy. I've never even heard of this before, especially the limitation of 3%. Partially because that is weirdly specific. I don't even know what 3% of a screen is. Luckily, some other people found out what it is. Turns out this is 3%. This is it in square form, this is it in banner form, and this is it if you were to put it on the side. It is fucking tiny. It is literally smaller than my webcam. It is not a large part of the screen. So that would impact a lot of banner ads that people regularly do on their Twitch streams. And then the second one is the one that people are very stressed out about, which is that streamers are not allowed to insert video ads directly into their streams. So this is basically like you are sponsored by Campbell's Soup, and then you play a Campbell's Soup ad while you are streaming for 60 seconds, and then it's back to you jerking off, watching the button, whatever the hell's going on. And they said, no, that you cannot do that. And then there's a couple additional ones saying, hey, you can't do banner ads, which I guess would also fall under the 3% anyway. And then you can't have any burned in audio ads, which I've never heard about. I guess that's like if you're doing a podcast maybe, and you have like a podcast ad read, apparently that's also not allowed to happen. So all of these things just outright banned, and this is the main thing people are upset about. Which I think is pretty fucking dumb by Twitch, because this is the main way that people who run huge events are able to make money, including me. That's how I make most of my money. Now, I'm on YouTube, so it's not as big of a problem for me, but for my Mogul Chess Boxing, here's a baked-in mid-roll ad from Cash App. That is all it is. It's a total baked-in ad that would not be allowed under the current Twitch guidelines. Similar to the KFC ad that we recorded that aired during the Streamer Awards. Another ad that just wouldn't be able to be aired, which is part of the
All of this is insane, for the record. I think it's a absolutely psychotic thing to do, and it just like dramatically, it basically dramatically takes over control over content creators who are 1099 employees, like they're fucking contractors, and it's yet another way for Twitch to basically try to like, you know, stop revenue streams that are independent of the platform itself. It also has like additional, it basically also has like additional complications with content creation in general. None of which actually harms me or impacts me in a significant way, for the record. I just want to point that out. Like, I think this is, my criticism of this is purely from a worker rights standpoint. I think it's like absolutely fucking psychotic to engage in such a thing and take away the autonomy of content creators themselves to this degree so that you can like be the one who's single-handedly responsible for serving whatever fucking ads you want to serve on the platform. Instead of figuring out better marketing solutions, instead of figuring out better advertisement solutions and figure out, you know, better advertisement placements. It's silly. It's short-term focused. It's completely ridiculous. And it harms a lot of the smaller content creators. I don't really give a shit. I don't really do a lot of sponsored stuff. It doesn't harm me in any meaningful way. But it would destroy smaller content creators who make a lot of money this way. You know, they got like G Fuel sponsorships, things of that nature. And it also creates a complication for large content creators that want to do events that are sponsored by other brands. Cutie Cinderella's events obviously would be blocked in this situation. Like, that's kind of fucking dumb. Anyway, let's continue.
The reason they pay the big bucks, those big sponsors, to be able to make events like that happen in the first place. And somebody on Twitter, Brian, said, the more I think about it, the more insane this is. Literally no event can run on Twitch under these guidelines. Tournaments, league, charity, all of them violate these in so many ways. And so I looked into it, and he's right. I mean, literally, this is a Twitch Prime Gaming, or I guess an Amazon Prime Gaming banner giveaway. This is an ad right here, and it is well over 3% and breaks the rule of inserted, burned-in display ads. That's not allowed under the current guidelines. Now, I fully believe that Twitch is probably trying.
Here's Ammunition also pointing that out. Hey, Twitch, for clarification, the 3% screen size per logo or total logo space accounting for multiple logos, does it include dead space created by logo positioning? I.e., in a recent rival stream, there are 8 burned-in logos which take up over 9% of the screen. You know what I mean? They don't even follow on their own guidelines. Obviously, the main reason why they would do this is so that they control what kind of advertising happens. They want to stop you from having your own personal brands so that they create or possibly implement like an advertisement sales team that's selling you those advertising, they want to control all forms of revenue that you can generate on the platform. Okay. Why? Because they want to get a cut of that revenue. Okay. They can sell it to you like, oh, we'll make it really seamless. We'll make it really easy. The bounty system is one example of this, except the bounty system is completely voluntary. Okay. This would create, instead of doing like voluntary ad sales teams that work with streamers where you actually do take a percentage of that off the tippy top, which no one would probably have issues with, you are creating a process where you make it involuntary. You are forcing streamers to work with you. Okay. Which is ridiculous.
To target some specific groups of people, and they're not going to blanket punish everyone across the board. But they could be punishing individual creators. Now, part of the reason I believe this, and I guess we'll break this into 2 groups here. People who are going to give Twitch the most charitable interpretation and people who are going to give Twitch the least charitable interpretation. Now, if we're going with the latter, if we're going with the least charitable interpretation, this means Twitch is going to outright cannibalize every single ad that anybody was trying to do.
Oh, this is actually a really good Yanis Varoufakis mention. You're correct. What Twitch wanted to do here is what Yanis Varoufakis talks about when he says we've moved beyond capitalism into techno-feudalism, where digital companies are wielding the ownership of digital land to control everything their fiefdoms and extract as much profit from it as possible. Yes, it's like it's built upon digital enclosures, spaces that like these content creators dominate. I mean, these companies dominate. That's what they're doing.
Any individual creator, any esports organizer, and make them do it through Twitch exclusively. And maybe there's some supporting evidence, like when they tweeted out a month ago, we're testing new experiences to connect streamers and brands by making sponsored streams work better for our community. So they already have things in place to improve their ad sales to their creators, and now they're removing the other options for creators, so you have no option but to do all your ads through Twitch. That's the least charitable. What's the most charitable? They're getting up to date with a lot of the rules that other websites have in place, including YouTube. Embedded third-party sponsorships in ads in YouTube content. YouTube creators cannot include promotion, sponsorships, or other advertisements for third-party sponsors or advertisers in their videos where YouTube offers a comparable ad format, including, but not limited to, pre, mid, and post-roll ads, aka you shouldn't be allowed, according to YouTube, to have a 60-second ad that you burn into your video that talks about, I don't know, Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons and how they have bad drift. Apparently that wouldn't fly. But if you've watched YouTube for more than a week, you know that does fly all the time. So I think it's some sort of policy that YouTube puts in place to punish groups of people that might be cannibalizing too much of their ad sales because they're...
Or it's something, just like the Twitch terms of service already had this in it, it's something that they're gearing up for the future so they can have like some kind of legal standing down the line when they choose to extract more value out of the content creators that are generating value for them. It's a very unique situation. Oh, by the way, this is a perfect example of how, it doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, doesn't matter if you're on Twitch, if you're a content creator, you have similar interests, and the platforms have the exact same interest that is, of course, diametrically the opposite of your interest. If only there was like some kind of political theory that captured the essence of this kind of value extraction and value generation. I can't think of one right now, but I'll get back to you guys if I can come up with a name for it. I don't know, maybe like a social understanding, or like a communal one. I don't know.
Seems crazy still to me. And Twitch can also prove me wrong. This is a time will tell scenario. If in a month from now, Twitch is taking down every single creator who does have a burned in ad, a 60-second mid-roll ad, or who does have a banner, then this is not at all what YouTube is doing. But in writing, it is the exact same. In practice, it could be a whole lot different. This thing, still crazy to me. I don't know where this 3% came from. It seems oddly specific. It seems way too punishing. But I am hoping that this is Twitch's way of trying to target a group of people who is taking up too much of their ad sales because maybe they're doing it at scale, and less so a way to specifically target individual creators who are doing ad sales, who are trying to make money to make ends meet. Because at the end of the day, that is most Twitch streamers. Most Twitch streamers aren't the top 0.0001% that you think of when you think of Twitch streamers. It is people who are just making enough to live or have a good side hustle going. And this brings me to the bigger point here, which is that Twitch has a PR problem. At its core, that is Twitch's biggest issue. Nobody is going to give Twitch a charitable...
Even I disagree with that. I mean, Twitch definitely has a PR problem, but ultimately it doesn't matter. What matters is Twitch's Amazon problem, okay? Twitch has a profitability problem, and which is enforced by Amazon. It doesn't have to be a real problem, but Amazon is turning it into a very real one, and that's why they're making these like insane decisions over and over again that end up causing PR issues. Okay? Twitch also personally believes that they are the dominant force in the space, a space that is getting smaller and smaller, by the way, due to post-COVID normalization of people's existences. But Amazon is certainly, or Twitch is certainly making these decisions because they feel comfortable that YouTube doesn't give a shit about touching the live streaming space any longer, any more than they have. And it certainly does not care. It certainly does not care about, what do you call it? It certainly doesn't care about fucking Kick or any other platforms, clearly. But that much is obvious.
interpretation for anything they're doing because they have done nothing but make bad decisions over the past 2+ years. Not only make bad decisions, but the way they announce these decisions is always articles that they post at 4 a.m. that are cold, cut and dry, that don't actually answer the questions people want to know. They even have an FAQ at the bottom of this huge article they posted, and all of the FAQ is about the branded content announcement, aka point 1 of the 2 points, the branded content disclosure tool. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Yet every single question is about branded content and disclosure, with the exception of one all the way down here, which is what do you mean by burned in ads? And it just clarifies that you're not allowed to have any mid-roll ads. I feel like it would be a lot better if Twitch were to be more personable. And they just got a CEO who is doing interviews with VTubers who seems a little more hip. So why not have like a sit-down conversation and say, hey, these are our new guidelines. This is why we're doing it. We're trying to keep up to date with other competing websites like YouTube or whatever it is. It would feel a whole lot better if the message came from a human who seems like they care, rather than an article that is trying to be shoved into the anal cavities of 4 a.m., only to be posted by some Twitter journalists like Zach, and then talked about by every streamer known to man who hates the small little read they did about it. I don't know. It just seems brain dead that they haven't figured that out by now and they haven't changed it. But that's where we currently sit with Twitch and with their new announcement. Time will tell. I am hopeful, always optimistic, that Twitch is not going to go out and attack every single individual who has a sponsorship that breaks these rules and that it's for some other reason, but it's Twitch. So they might just do that. And I think they are further and further pushing people to competitors like YouTube or even Kick or even Rumble, where it seems like a lot of creators are signing by the day. We'll see. Time will tell. But that's another huge Twitch drama. That's why everyone's mad.
So here's what Twitch said after this immediate posting and then the immediate fucking explosive reaction to this idiotic take that they put out there. Today's branded content policy update was overly broad. This created confusion and frustration, and we apologize for that. We do not intend to limit streamers' ability to enter into direct relationships with sponsors, and we understand that this is an important part of how streamers can earn revenue. We wanted to clarify our existing ads policy that was intended to prohibit third-party ad networks from selling burned-in video and display ads on Twitch, which is consistent with other services. We missed the mark with the policy language, and we will rewrite guidelines to be clearer. Thank you for sharing your concerns, and we appreciate the feedback. We'll notify the community once we've updated language. Okay, who is doing third-party ad sponsorships? Everyone is doing third-party ad sponsorships. For example, technically, when I do get in the rare case that I do get a fucking sponsorship, I'm getting it through Night Media. It's not like I have a fucking direct relationship with Ubisoft or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, no streamer actually has a direct and personal relationship with NVIDIA.